Yo, what's going on, young goats? It's your boy 3, Stats with Stacks, you know what I'm saying? Today I'm going to make it really quick and brief. I'm just going to talk about the best blue CP that you can run on a blade. In my blade build video that I put up on my channel, I didn't go over my CP, so this will give you guys time to see what CP I run. And from experience, this is purely subjective, but or objective, but from experience, these are the best CP that you can run on a blade, at least the spec that I'm running. So I'm going to go into champion, and this video is mostly about a specific blue CP, but I'll go ahead and show you guys what I'm running. So I run exploiter because, again, when you're ganking, you're obviously all the time throwing back shots, bro. Like, you blowing backs out, bro, all the time, bro. You coming in from the back. So yeah, exploiter is insane. It's a unique 10% damage buff that people overlook. Exploiter is one of my favorite blue CPs. It's stronger than like for example, all the 6%ers like Master at Arms, the direct damage on the single target one, the AoE. I do run Master at Arms because every instance of damage I do is definitely direct. All my defense comes from insanely disgusting heals, crazy sustain, dodge rolls, vigor, and now I'm spec'd into Shade, which I'm gonna make a totally separate video about why Shade is like the best skill for Xing, period. Like, in my opinion, it's almost better than Streak. But yeah, Exploiter is crazy. It's a unique 10%. Nightblades, both morphs of their the best mountable you can run, sets targets off balance. Sorry about that. So yeah, I feel like Exploiter is just crazy strong. And again, you could just medium heavy weave and get a stun off of the off balance as well, so you could consume it. But Exploiter's broken. Master at Arms is decent. I also run Backstabber, so in my opinion, for ganks, Exploiter and Backstabber go hand in hand. There's a CP that buffs your critical damage by 8% and your critical healing, which is almost as good as Backstabber because it does buff your heals. Backstabber is just 2% more damage, and Backstabber also is unique and different because if we go into, let's go back. Because if we go into our blue CP right here, right? So Fighter's Finesse actually increases your critical damage and healing by 8%. That works on your stat sheet. My crit damage on my Nightblade is already at 129%, and that's the max. But keep in mind that it's okay to be over the critical cap because people are running, for example, like Resilience. Let me go in right here. I think it's Resilience, if I'm not mistaken. People are running Resilience, people are running Pen, and they're running Rallying Cry, right? So their critical resistance is pretty high. Keep in mind that regular resistances already mitigate all forms of damage, including critical damage, but you have a separate resistance, which is called critical resistance, because again, armor's not gonna mitigate enough of critical damage. Critical damage is just so absurd. I mean, if you're already high penetration and you're eating through your opponent's armor, they also need critical resistance, or otherwise, like, your crits are just gonna rip hairlines off, which mine do. So Backstabber is unique because it gives you a 10% critical damage done to the target. It doesn't work with your stat sheet, so it's another way to bypass the critical damage cap. Well, also, it works very similar to a major berserk, right? And so it's very, very strong. However, objectively, Fighting Finesse is a little better, but this thing actually just does more damage. And so, and on my blade, I'm just trying to hit for the hardest I can so I can get out of there as fast as I can. So Backstabber and Exploiter are the two of the best blue CPs that you can run on Nightblade. But the objective best in why I'm making this whole entire video is just riposte. You guys are sleeping on this thing. Nobody really runs riposte in blue. If you do, you're actually goated. If you actually run this and you're not capping, like, don't say you do and then hop on your blade or whatever and then put it on your blue CP really fast just to say you've been running it. It's okay, be humble. If you didn't know about it, now you do. But if you did, you're freaking goated because this skill is insane. It says when you block an attack from an enemy within 7 meters, your next direct damage attack made within 5 seconds deals 33% additional damage. This is the most broken blue CP like ever in the entire game. This thing just doesn't even make sense. Like, on a jab plar, I wouldn't run this because it only buffs one of the jabs of 3, right? So it's not that good on certain classes, but on a blade, it's absolutely disgusting, especially when go into the nuance. If you guys have seen my build video, I talk about bash weaving. Light attack weaving is one thing, but bash weaving is another. And guess what? When you bash, you hold block. So when you bash weave, you proc riposte already whenever you're brawling, because again, you're not going to be able to gank everybody. Everybody's not, like, you're not gonna be able to just one tap everybody. Everybody's not that squishy. There's some people whose critical resistance is so high, their natural resistance are so high, their heals are good, they dodge roll a lot, you know, they're elusive. So when you're on a blade, even when you're a ganker, you're gonna have to engage into some fights. And so that's where your block bash weaving actually works, because if you end up brawling or dueling in IC or Cyrodiil, and you're bash weaving, you're gonna proc riposte on cooldown every 5 seconds, and you're gonna know your Q. So when you block bash weave, pop your surprise attack, right? Your surprise attack is a guaranteed crit. It deals 33% more additional damage. If you're hitting them from behind, which if you proc riposte, you're probably not, you could get like a maximum of a 53% damage buff on your in-cap, your surprise attack, your bow proc, whichever one you want to put riposte and stack the rest of them on top of you having 129% crit chance or crit damage already. Your pin is 24,000 fully buffed, 24,000 pin, 129% crit damage. The weapon and spell damage with continuous attack up is 7,100. I mean, dude, 7,100 weapon and spell damage, 24k pin, 129% crit damage, plus a riposte. With the riposte is just, I call it ripping hairline. That's what's funny, because the name's riposte, ripping hose, bro. Backstabber, freaking the off balance blue spec, but honestly riposte is the most broken one. But if you're on a Nightblade, there's no other way to run Nightblade in my opinion on blue. If you want to be a tanky blade and you don't want to be a ganker, you can spec more into defense, run resilient, run ironclad, run duels, revolt, run it all, bro. You know, but riposte is just broken. This thing, I don't even know why it's here. You can't really get this type of unique buff in like even a 5-piece proc set. Like Essence Thief gives you like 10%, right? You can get like Major and Minor Berserk, and that's 15%. Malekith is a mythic that gives you 16% damage done at all times, but it still doesn't really outclass riposte is so unique and powerful. And keep in mind, like I talked about all this damage, but Nightblade also has in-cap. Your opponent takes 20% more damage from you. So just imagine an in-cap bash weave riposte like bow proc. Your bow, dude, when I say bow procs are just, they don't even make sense. I've had bow procs where I had to really just go back and watch the replay to make sure that number was real, because I was like, is that a 21k bow? Are you kidding me? You mean to tell me that my bow would have hit for 42k just naturally, but the only thing mitigating it was Battle Spirit? It's just crazy. So yeah, riposte is very strong, but on a blade, it's the best. This is the best blue CP you could run on a blade. As long as you bash weave, when you block and tap R2, if you're on a PS5, that's bashing. But guess what? When you're bashing, you're still blocking. So while you're bash weaving naturally like you're supposed to, like I'm going to teach you guys, I'm telling you guys bash weave, you're getting extra damage on all your burst instances, and you're passively mitigating damage because you're blocking, and then you're gaining riposte to rip hairlines off. That's going to be it for this video. That's all I really wanted to talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching. I guess I'll show the rest of my CP because I didn't show it in my blade video. For green, I run Warmount, Gifted Rider's Steed's Blessing, and specifically Sustaining Shadows. It reduces the cost of sneak by 50%. You run this on a stage 2 vamp on a blade because you ignore the speed reduction of sneak, and then while you're in sneak, you obviously will come out and you get 300 weapon and spell damage, which is like a rallying cry in and of itself. So my blade just moves fast, can stay in stealth for a long time, and when he comes out, he's hitting harder. So stage 2 vamp with Sustaining Shadows is the way to go. In medium armor, as much medium armor as you could get to reduce the radius of your stealth detection, so it's harder for people to detect you in stealth without pots. My red is Celerity, Survival Instincts. Again, I'm a blade, I dodge roll for days. There's a skill blades have to make their dodge rolls kind of free. I don't have time to be taking the amount of damage it requires for you to actually get free dodge rolls off that skill. Survival Instincts helps because when you block, it costs resources. So this also mitigates like my sustain that I lose off of block bash weaving, you know, because when you bash weave, again, you block. Yeah, Fortified and Balanced are my two favorite red CPs for well-roundedness on any spec, to just get more survivability, health, and armor. You can never say no to that in my opinion. But Survival Instincts so that I have better sustain overall, and then Celerity for speed because I'm an in and out. This is the in and out blade, bro. I told you guys. So yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's get another drip check. Look at my freaking blade. You know I look good, bro. And that's gonna do it for this one. Deuces as well, guys.